Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Story Time. Basically, a series where I talk about a story. It's kind of self-explanatory. Um, Even longtime viewers are probably like, "Wait, what?" I don't recall you doing ever doing any one of these before. Actually, I have. I don't remember how long ago it was. It must have been like at least 2 years ago. I did one story time, and this is the second one. I did this a couple years ago, telling the story about my first WWE event I went to. The only one, actually, so far, unfortunately. I'd like to go to more. I actually was intending on doing more of these. It's just, I kind of abandoned it in a way. I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of forgot about it. I'd think about it once in a while. I'd be like, oh yeah, story time. I should do more of those. But I honestly just never can think of like a good story to, talk about, because I don't want to just do pointless stories. I want to talk about ones that I can talk about in great detail, put, pictures that go with it and whatnot. So I don't know why, I just randomly thought of this one instance that happened last year. And as you can tell by the title, it's when I met a certain NBA player. But yeah, I don't know. I want to do more of these. I just randomly thought about it. I had some free time today, and I was like, oh, I should actually do a story time about this. Again, I don't know. It just kind of came out of nowhere, but I figured it'd be fun to do. And maybe inspire me to do more story times. Hopefully, because I myself enjoy watching videos like this where people tell stories that are pretty either entertaining or funny or whatnot, and have pictures to look at, and I don't know. And obviously I ramble a lot incoherently, so that's also kind of an appeal in a way. If you enjoy these things, don't worry, you're not alone, because I do as well. And so I'd figure I'd talk about the time I met Tyler Johnson, who played for the Miami Heat. Some of you may already get this, like why this happened and the significance of it. If you know who he is and you know what I look like. Basically, he's a player for the NBA, and he looks just like me. Like, it's hilarious. If you've seen me in person, which not meant I have yet to run into any fans, but all my friends and family, they know I look like this guy. So like you've seen me in videos before, like a ton of videos. You know what I look like, but you may not see a resemblance per se. Maybe you'll see a slight resemblance if you look at pictures of him, and videos of me. But if you've seen me in person, you're just like, trust me, I've I've had tons of people tell me you look like this guy. It's hilarious. So what I want to do in this video is literally talk about the whole beginnings of this thing, of where people started telling me, and then also up to when I actually met him. So this first happened, I think it was like near the end of 2017, if I remember correctly, because I actually ended up meeting him a couple months later. So this is what happened. One day I was at Hot Topic, which is a store I go to a lot, obviously, because they sell great merchandise, and it's just like the best store ever. I love it. I was at Hot Topic one day randomly, and I forgot what I was buying. I don't know. I was buying something, and I go to pay for it, and the cashier, who I think is actually the manager there, because I go there and he's always there. I think he's the manager. He just randomly goes, "Hey, anyone ever tell you look like Tyler Johnson?" I'm like, "Who is that? I don't know who that is." And he's like, "Oh, he plays for the Miami Heat, but man, you look just like him." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And actually, I was really surprised, because I'm like, I think I know who that is. Miami Heat. I live in South Florida. That's our team. During that whole era of LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, I was watching it a lot. And we won 2 championships back to back, and yada, yada, yada. Everyone knows. Any NBA fan knows all that. But after that era ended, LeBron went to Cleveland. Chris Bosh had to retire. Dwayne Wade ended up leaving also, but he came back. And actually, his recent retirement run was great. If you guys seen that. But basically, after all that was said and done, I kind of stopped watching NBA. Like I'm not a huge sports fan, but if I watch anything, it's definitely basketball. You know what I mean? The only football I watch is the Super Bowl. That right there should tell you how not into sports I am. But, I do enjoy basketball quite a lot. It's like the only sport I've ever enjoyed actually playing, really, and also watching. So, yeah, after all that was said and done with the Big Three in the championships, I just tuned out. So, during that time, the Heat signed this guy, Tyler Johnson. He's not from Florida. I don't know where he's from, actually. But they signed this guy, and he's relatively new. So I think he was signed in 2016, I think. I don't know for sure. So this guy, this was in 2017. He was telling me, hey, you look like him. And I had no clue who he was, obviously, because, he was new, and I wasn't watching. So as soon as I left the store, I pulled out my phone and I Google searched him, and I looked at the first picture I saw of him. I was like, oh my God, this guy looks just like me. And not to mention, we have the same first name too. And I said that to the guy. Oh, my name's Tyler. He's like, oh, that's hilarious. So I was like, wow, this guy looks just like me. And yeah, it was pretty funny. So I went home, and I think my dad was home, and I told him, I'm like, hey, because my dad, he follows sports a lot. I don't know how much he was following basketball or whatever, because I know he watches football quite a bit, and soccer and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, some guy today told me I look like this basketball player on the Heat. Have you heard of him? Tyler Johnson. He's like, yeah, I've heard of him. And that was it. Like I was like surprised. I'm like, geez, you know about this guy, but you never like told me I look like him. I guess my dad didn't think I looked like him, maybe. But Jesus, as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, oh my God, I look like him. So, and somebody else totally told me I look like him, without any, preemptive, conversation or anything like that. He just literally just like brought it up himself. He's like, hey, you look like this guy. So that right there should tell you, yeah, I do. But I guess my dad didn't think so, maybe, because he never brought it up to me, and he knew about him. So that was kind of funny. And then later on, I ended up telling my mom and my sister. My sister didn't agree, because, sisters just love doing that, disagreeing with what you say or whatnot, and, just judging your opinions. And but yeah, I showed my mom, and she was like, oh my God. Like, my mom was like couldn't believe it. She's like, you literally look just like him. So I was like starting to like tell people, more and more people, and they're like, wow, yeah, you do. And I'm going to try to post screenshots of this on my personal Instagram account. I posted a picture of me and him. Like, I posted a picture of me side by side with a picture of him. And I was like, hey, oh no, I forgot. Somebody else that same week told me also, hey, you look like Tyler Johnson, like a completely separate person. Like I think it was like a customer at my job. He was like, you look like Tyler Johnson. So like literally 2 people in 1 week were telling me this. So that was what, tempted me to post a picture on Instagram about it. So I posted this picture side by side with me and him. And I was like, hey, 2 people this week told me I look like him. And literally all my my personal friends were like, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I'll post screenshots, but it was hilarious, the reactions I got. So yeah, like I'm telling you, you have to see me in person to like fully, see the resemblance. You know what I mean? Pictures don't do it justice. So I was like, all right, I need to find a way to meet this guy, because it can't be too difficult, He's plays for South Florida, and that's where I live. So I was like, man, how do I make this happen? Like, even if I go to a game, which is already expensive, like there's going to be no chance I could like meet him personally or anything like that, like, one-on-one. And one day, well, actually, before oh, no, I forgot. Hold on. See, this is like so incoherent. I even showed like some other family members, and they were like, oh my God, yeah, you look like him. So a couple months later, because that was around, I think it was November, because that's when I got this, because it was my sister's birthday. We're having like a birthday dinner in November. That's when her birthday is. and that's when I showed my aunts and uncles and stuff like that. So that was in November, it must have been. So 4 months later, because this happened in March when I finally met him. 4 months later, just one day, randomly, I was on Instagram, and hopefully I can post a screenshot of this. The Miami Heat posted a photo saying, "Hey, meet Tyler Johnson at Aventura Mall in which is basically Miami, Aventura, the city of Aventura. You can meet him today from, I think it's like 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It'll say on here. So literally, there's like a 1 hour window when you can go and meet him." And thank God I was off, because I work a lot, and I have a set schedule every week. So if that would have taken place on a day I worked, I couldn't have met him. Like, I work the same hours every week. So thankfully, it was on a day I was off. So they posted that photo a couple hours before the meet and greet. And I was like, oh my God, I can actually go drive there and meet him. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go do this. And it was kind of a long drive, because I don't literally live there. It took like maybe 45 minutes to get there, but it was worth it, because I literally drove there, met him, and then drove back. That's all I did. And it took a while, but it was worth it. So what happened was, I got in my car, I drove all the way there, about, an hour before the thing started. And I get there, and he's doing this meet and greet where it's in a store. So they have this thing set up where you form a line outside of the store that's in the mall. And you wait in line or whatever. You go up to him, take a pic. You say hi, whatever. He signs a picture of him, and he gives it to you. And then this photographer takes a picture of you guys together. So that's how it worked. So I got there and I get in line. It's actually a really long line. And I need to say this real quick. He is not really the best player. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. But the consensus with him is that he's not the best. And people always point out how big of a contract he had with the Heat, and they're like, oh, he's not worth all this money, blah, 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 and I don't know. Because, like I said, I wasn't watching at the time, so I don't know if it was he was necessarily a bad player or not. But that's all I heard was he's okay. He's just I don't know. A lot of people call him trash, They say he's trash player, blah, blah, blah. And actually, he recently got traded to Arizona, I think it was. So they actually ended up getting rid of him. So that tells you. But, I did watch a few games he was in after everything was said and done, after I met him. And he was okay, He wasn't anything special, but he was okay. But I would agree. He wasn't worth the contract he supposedly had, that amount of money. But anyways, so yeah, I was actually kind of surprised how long the line was to meet him, because of all the negativity he kind of had. But we were standing in this long line, and I was wondering, hey, when I get in this line, obviously all these people know who Tyler Johnson is. They're going to see me get in this line, and is anyone going to look at me hey, you look like him? But surprisingly, no one, I don't think anybody, because I was near the end of the line, nobody was turning around or anything like that. So we were all facing forward, really. So no one really saw me. But there was an instance where the guy right in front of me, he turned around to look, I guess, to see the end of the, how long the line got. And he kind of glanced at me for a second. He I could tell. He was oh, whoa. He didn't say nothing to me, but he looked at me for an extra second. And it was pretty funny, because I look like him, obviously. Anyways, so we're standing in line for a good while, and then Tyler Johnson appears. He starts walking to the store with a security guard or something like that, or whoever's with him. And, he's kind of far away. I can kind of see him. I was oh, that guy's tall. Because obviously, basketball players are really tall. But he goes in the store, some lady hands us this card. It says, go to heatfanphotos.com or whatever, and it tells you how to get the picture later on when they upload it later. So we're standing in line, and then, they're letting in groups of 5 at a time, I think it was. So I think I was in line for maybe a good 30 minutes in total. I really should have told this story back when it happened. This is over a year ago. I don't know why I didn't, but I just figured I'd tell it now. But anyways, so eventually my group gets in the group of 5 gets in the store or whatever. And yeah, I go up to him, and he's he could have said more, but he didn't really say much. But I was just as soon as he looked at me, you could tell. He was oh, that guy looks like me. But we didn't really say much to each other. But I go up to him, and he signs the picture, whatever, and it's with his signature. And the funny thing that happened, on all the pictures of him, that they had like a pile of, big photos that he signs and gives to the people. The only thing he does is put his signature and hands it to you. That's it. For mine, though, he wrote "to Tyler" on it, because I went up to him and I was like, "It's crazy. So many people tell me I look like you." And he just kind of laughed. He was like, "Yeah, I see the resemblance," or whatever. And then he signs the thing, hands it to me, and then we take a picture. And then he says, "Oh, wait, give me that back for a second." I give him back the picture, and then he writes "to Tyler" on it. So my one, out of everybody that got a picture signed or whatever, mine actually has a "to Tyler" on it, because I told him that. He literally took it back and like, "Let me add this real quick because we have the same name. And also you look like me." And it was pretty funny, because the other people in line that were waiting after I was done, they were like looking, and they were like, "Oh wow, look at these guys together." So it was kind of funny. But we didn't say much to each other, but you know what, it was like about a minute in total. And the picture should be on the screen right now. It was just really funny. And yeah, I think in the picture right there, if you're looking at it, it doesn't say "to Tyler" on it. You see what I mean? I'll actually try to post a picture of the actual thing in my room. I got it hanging up on my wall. You could see when he took it back and added the "to Tyler" on it. So that's really funny that he did that. So yeah, and that was about it. I walked out of the store, and then I drove home in terrible traffic. Jesus Christ. That's what I remember most about it. The traffic back was so horrible. It was like, it took over an hour, I think, to get home. It was so bad. The way there wasn't too bad, but Jesus Christ. I'm glad I don't live down there in Miami and Aventura or whatever. So yeah, I was just waiting all day for them to upload the picture of us, because I couldn't get it up. But I was like telling my family, "Oh yeah, like it was so funny. Wait till you see the picture." And yeah, I waited all day, and then later that night they finally put up the picture. I downloaded it, and then I put it on my personal Instagram or whatever. And again, everybody was like leaving funny comments about it, and hopefully I can put some screenshots here. But yeah, that was it. That was the whole story. And what's great about it, anytime somebody says it to me now, which unfortunately is less because he's traded to Arizona now, but like recently, literally like a week ago, I had a customer tell me, "Hey, you look like him." So nowadays, when somebody tells me that, I pull out my phone and I show them the picture of me and him, and then I'm like, "Yeah, my name is Tyler too, actually." And it's the funniest thing ever. Like, seriously, you should have seen the look on this guy's face when I showed him the picture. He was like, "Oh my God." Yeah, so if any of you guys, I'd like to know this in the comments. Even if you don't have videos or anything like that, and you don't show what you look like, it's fine. But do any of you guys have a doppelganger? Which is basically, a person that you look just like a famous doppelganger. Any stories about that? Or even, not even a famous person. Did you ever run into somebody one day that you look just like, and you're like, "Oh my God"? And in my case, I have the same name as him. First name at least. Do any of you guys have that also? So yeah, just let me know in the comments. And what do you think of this story? Do you think it's pretty funny or what, or not? I think it's hilarious. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't have anything else to add to it, but yeah. Oh yeah, I do need to say, ever since then, my sister has kind of agreed with me. That's what happens. They doubt you at first, and then you actually do meet the guy, take a picture with him, and now it's like, "Yeah, look at this." So that's pretty funny. And I've shown tons of people the photo, and it's great. So yeah, that's about it for my story there. And I do want to do more. I want to do more of these. If you guys have any like suggestions, maybe suggest like stories I've had dealing with, I don't know, school or different parties I've been to or something like that, or concerts or anything. Give me some like ideas that I can draw from, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I did have a story about this." Maybe like an Uber ride I've had or something. I actually do have a story involving like an Uber ride. Maybe I'll tell it, where I actually lost my wallet, which was a very scary thing because I'd never lost my wallet before. But I'll save that for another video if I do it. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of this, and that's about it. Thanks for watching this whole thing. Geez, 20 minutes. Oh my God. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.